Chantal Matevla, and I welcome you to the You, Me, or the World show, where we discuss certain matters that make it headlines constantly on several media platforms, just to see how they actually affect the individual everyday people. Today we'll be talking about the state of journalism. Today joining me is Fusheni Tip Mafuza Vugeya, who's not only a law student but is also a secretary in the law student faculty. He is very hands-on in the community. You can tell with his recent initiatives of being a volunteer in the community as well as a community engagement leader. It's an honor to have you today, Tim.
I think it's an honor.
So, just gonna ask you a couple of questions, like pertaining to the journalism in South Africa today. So, how often do you keep up with the news?
I'll be lying if I say I'm always reading news very often, but usually it's when I'm driving around the car and I'm listening to radio, or maybe on my cell phone when I'm reading like news articles from journals and blogs.
So, these platforms that you rely on, how did you decide that you are relying on these media platforms to see news and share journalism?
For example, I can say about like a journal called The Reapers. It's a law journal, so it constantly reminds me about like law reports in South Africa, new legislation, because I want to keep up with whatever that is going on because I am a law student.
So, as you said, you are a law student. So, are these the topics that you mainly focus on, or are there other things that catch your eye?
There are certainly other things that catch my eye. For example, if maybe there are issues that are going on around the country, I'm most likely to be interested and look at. For example, right now the state of the country is in shambles, I can say so, because petrol prices are going high. Yeah, there are a lot of things. So as far as you're a South African citizen, you are bound to be interested and listen or maybe investigate on what is going on.
So, those general topics that interest you day to day, do you think those are the topics that interest other people, or is it just because you're a law student that they interest you that much?
I feel like they also interest other students because as far as you could be a South African citizen, you should be concerned with what is going on around you. But yeah, most people are mostly interested in what is going on maybe in the entertainment industry, not what is going on the political side.
True, that is very true. So, looking at the manner in which these issues are reported day to day, what could you comment on that?
I would say that some of them are actually concealed in a way, like the reporters are not reporting fully on what is going on because some issues are really sensitive, I understand, but they should just like alert people on what is really going on and not conceal anything. You shouldn't give us the piece of the chocolate, but the whole chocolate.
I understand fully. So, when you think of traditional media, which refers to the old way of like journalism, like newspapers and radio, and just comparing it to the new way in which media is reported through digital cell phones, etc.
Yeah.
Which do you think actually posed as an advantage for journalism as a whole?
I would. My answer is going to be two-way. I feel like the traditional way of journalism had substance, and mostly the things that they were releasing had concrete or were, I can say, deemed to be true. But with the recent media of like sharing news, I can say it's faster, it is simple to access, it is simple for us, people like me who is very young, but somehow some of these platforms cannot be trusted because they are releasing things that are actually not true.
True. So, circling back to new media, as you mentioned, it's faster and more convenient for people your age.
Yeah.
What do you think about the inclusivity when it comes to like the people of different age groups, like people older than us, people our age, and people younger than us? How does it affect them, and is it really inclusive enough?
I feel like it is not really inclusive enough, but they are trying to be inclusive because majority of the things that are actually shared in the news industry include older people. forgetting that there are actually youngsters like me who are actually doing greater stuff, that should they actually share on the media platforms, they could actually encourage other youngsters to actually do better.
So if we do go back to the old way in which media was reported, journalism was spread, like newspapers and so forth, the traditional media way, how effective do you think it would be, like in keeping your interest? Would you still be hooked into it as you are, or as you mentioned before, you're mostly on your phone, or you're like when you're walking around and stuff like that?
Honestly speaking, I don't think I can be hooked into it because I don't even know when last I bought a magazine or I bought a newspaper. Majority of the things I found from my cell phone, but maybe for older people it could be convenient, but for me I don't think it can be convenient enough because I mostly use my cell phone.
True. That really does create a rift when it comes to new media and old media, because there are people with different preferences, and as you mentioned yours. But when we come to South African journalism as a whole, looking at what it is today, what do you think it's actually contributing to society?
I think it is contributing in a way that it is keeping us well informed with what is going on and what else. Yeah, I can say so. It's keeping us well informed. They're actually doing a great job. But I would like for them to actually go furthermore into like not concealing news, as I said before, and making sure that people are well updated in all areas of life, and also include younger children. It could be children, it could be teenagers, and also older people, because there are kids that are actually at a very young age they're publishing books. So it will be like really great to see also kids learning to like read at a very young age, because that is literature.
True. So your main issue is the way in which it should be more inclusive to different age groups, and it's lacking when it comes to youngsters, and it focuses mostly on older people.
Yes.
That is correct. I think many people have noticed that, and hopefully as we move forward in South African journalism, those issues can be addressed. Last question before we close up. I want to ask you, it's a two-way question mostly, but what positive attributes about journalism would you say to a person, any ordinary person who's not interested in journalism at all? What words would you use to encourage them
I
want
could
to do journalism?
tell them that they will be well informed with whatever that is going on in the country. It could help them with their vocabulary, the way that they read or write. The dangers will be probably that they should make sure that they read news from a reputable maybe platform, whether it's online or maybe it's a radio, because some of the platforms just are all about gossips. The things that they actually publish isn't like true, so that could be the dangers of actually reading something which is not even true.
So your main concern, or the negative attributes that South African journalism has, is mainly focused on fake news in your perspective?
Fake news, because there are a lot of, I can say, there are a lot of other people who are actually not journalists, but they are actually like publishing news, and people are interested in that. So that's why I'm saying that they should know the dangers of actually reading from sources that are actually not verified or reputable.
How do you think people would go about that, like making sure that you're reading from a reputable source?
I feel like they should make laws that actually make sure that only journalists that actually qualified or went to the university or are accredited to actually publish news are actually given the platform to publish news. That way people would like find news that are more accurate, and it will be really important or really simple for the government or other people to hold such journalists accountable.
True. That is a very valid point that you do make. Since we're running out of time, I just want you to just say something to people who are studying journalism today and people who want to study journalism. What words of encouragement would you give to those people?
I could say as far as they are still studying, they should just like get out of their shell and make sure that they practice what they are actually studying, because that there's talent outside, There are people who are actually having podcasts. There are people that are actually in radio who didn't even study media. So as far as you could be studying journalism or media, it is really important for you to familiarize yourself with the skills that are actually needed at the workplace. So start your podcast, start writing some piece of writings and actually publish them.
That is very true. From his words, I would repeat the same thing. It's very true. It's for people who are studying media to be more interested in like how people actually do the things, not to just read a book per se. And we thank you for that. This was Chantal Matebula on the show of You, Me, or the World. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you.
Thank you.